Yeah, good day everyone. How are you guys doing? Yeah, so in the as a continuation of the questions on communication I was solving in the previous video. So I will solve a question on communication in 2025, and that would be question 2. Yeah, question number 2. Now the question states, programmers in a software development company take part in a live video conference to discuss their work. The live video conference takes place using real-time bit streaming. The video is compressed before it is transmitted. Explain how data is transferred using real-time bit streaming. So I think I explained this question in the previous video I made. Yeah, so because of our time, I will just I will not write the answer to the question. I will refer you to the previous video. In the previous video, that has already this question has already been solved just to save time in this video. So the video is shown on the screens so that you can go back to the previous video to see the answer and the way I explain how you should approach this question. So the video is here. Question 9 on communication, 9618 paper 1-3. Also, the question can be found in this video. If you check question, I think I solved it in one of the questions there. So the video is here. So try as much as possible
over the
to
internet,
this video.
and you at the receiving end on your computer is
How
able
bit
to
streaming
see
is used.
everything
I've
that is
explained
going
how bit
on
streaming is used
at
in
that event that
real-time
you are
bit
not
streaming.
present. So this
Please go back to this
now what
video to
presentation
see how I explained
sent
it,
over.
and
Uh,
the answer
so
has
after
been
you've
answered in this video. Okay.
been as a whole, I hope this is well understood. Now the next question.
Yeah. So in that video, I explained that the video and audio are represented as bits on the sending computer. The video is compressed before transmission. These bits are transmitted continuously, okay, are transmitted continuously over the internet to upload on the media server. The media server sends data to the buffer on the receiving end on downloads, the receiving end computer. The receiving device then receives the bit stream from the buffer. I explained what is buffer, how the video is represented as bits, how the video is compressed, and how they are transmitted continuously. You can also say serially as well. Okay, so please check this video. This is my last video and see how I approach and answer that question. I hope this is well understood. Now the next question. Okay, and the next question says, explain the reason why a video is compressed before it is transmitted using real-time bit streaming. If you look at this video, like I told you, I said that the video is compressed before transmission. So the question is, why is it compressed before transmission? So if you take a look at a video file consists of images and what? And sounds, isn't it? So that means the size of a video file is usually large, is always very large. So because the size is large, so one, it will be what? It will consume a lot of what? Of data. That is the problem. It will consume a lot of data. Okay? So to prevent it from or to reduce the number of data or the amount of data required to transmit this video using real-time bit streaming, then we need to compress this video file. That is the first thing. Number two reason why we need to, don't forget that compression means reduction in file size. Okay, so if the file size is reduced, then the amount of data needed to transmit this video is also what? Reduced. That is number one. Number two is such that the amount of bandwidth used is also reduced. Okay, bandwidth. is also reduced. So what is a bandwidth? So you can see bandwidth as a path, like a road. Okay. So let's take for example, this is a road from point A to point B. This road might be able to accommodate, let's say, 3 cars at once. That means the maximum capacity this road can contain, or the maximum amount of data, or the maximum amount of cars that can move in this road at a given time is 3 cars. That is how wide is that road, or let's say an highway or a road or a footpath. Do you understand? So a bandwidth can be seen in that analogy. So don't forget that in a communication, what we are sending or we are transmitting from one point to another is data. Okay, so bandwidth in that point, in this context, okay, can be explained as the maximum capacity of a communication channel. Because if you are sending data over a communication network or over the internet, you are going to send it over a communication channel. And that channel has the maximum number of data it can accommodate at that given time. Do you understand? As what? A maximum number of what? Data it can accommodate or transfer at that given time. So bandwidth can be said to the maximum capacity of a communication channel, okay, to transfer data over a network in a what? In a given time. It is usually measured in bits per seconds or megabits per seconds or gigabit per seconds. So if you are transferring data over the internet, you will see this bandwidth. You will see the maximum number of bits is transferring. So the data is the bits. You understand? So the maximum number of bits is transfers in what? Per unit time. I hope you guys understand that. So imagine if you are now sending a video that is not compressed. That means you need more bandwidth, a large bandwidth to transfer this video in real time. So if this video is compressed, then the bandwidth you require at that point is what? Is reduced. I hope you understand that. So the next thing is to what? To reduce the amount of buffer at what? At the receiving end. So don't forget, when you are transmitting data over the internet, okay, the data gets to the receiver and is saved in the buffer. If you're using bit streaming, it's saved in the buffer, and the buffer also have its own capacity. The cover does not have an infinite capacity. It also have its own capacity. So imagine if the video file is so large. So that means you are going to exhaust the capacity in what? In a very short time. Do you understand? So if you compress the video before you transmit over the internet, so that means that the amount of buffer the receiving end is also what? Is also reduced. Just how many points? 3 points. So we need one more because these are 4 points. Sorry, this question is 4 marks rather. So we need 4 points to explain before we now start explaining the reasons. Then another thing is not everyone has the same amount of bandwidth. It depends on their internet speed. You can also say bandwidth is internet speed. You understand? So not everyone has the same internet speed. Not everyone has the same number of bandwidth. So if you are not transmitting video over the internet using real-time bit streaming, that means you want everyone to be able to watch the video. For example, I am making a video for you guys to learn from. This video is not in real time, it is a recorded video. But if I want to make it in real time, that means as I'm explaining, you guys are seeing me. As I'm explaining, you can see me. For example, like a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting or whatever, you can see the person as the person is talking. I hope you understand that. So imagine someone who's maybe in their area or internet capacity is so low. So that means there will be low bandwidth. So such people will be left out from that bit streaming, which is not the goal of what we want. Okay, the goal is to make sure everyone can be stream can join the meeting or can see the video as we're making the video, or can join an event they are not physically present. Do you understand? So that is one of the reasons why you should compress a video before it is transmitted using real-time bit streaming. I hope this is well understood. To take part. So the fourth point will be what? Will be people with lower bandwidth can what? Can take part. So now that we have the 4 points, so let's now explain that in this space of our answer booklet. Now it is written this way. Number one. So if you are asked to explain, you can write it as a paragraph to explain the whole idea. Don't just list out the 4 points. Explain the whole idea and link them together as a paragraph. So it can now be explained as thus. A video is needed to be compressed before transmission using real-time bit streaming to reduce the data size of the video by removing redundant information. This will in turn reduce the bandwidth required as well as the buffer needed at the receiving end. Thus, people and thus enable people with lower bandwidth to take part in the live video. So if you look at this, this is now well explained and anybody who reads this can understand it. So when you're asked to explain, write in a form of paragraph, not just listing out points, okay? So I hope this is well understood. Now let's go to the next question. Now the next question says, identify whether the lossy or lossless compression method is more appropriate for real-time bit streaming. Justify your answer. In my own view, okay, lossy compression, okay, is a more appropriate method. No, if you look at this question, says, why do we need to compress? So the follow-up question says, which do we need use? Is it lossy or lossless? Lossy compression, I believe it is what? It is more appropriate. Because why lossy? Number one, if you take a look at my explanation, I said by removing redundant information. So if you use lossy, if you use lossless, the informations, none of the informations are reduced. Only that identical data are what? Are grouped or matched together. So that is what lossless does. But for lossing, some part of the video is removed, but videos that are not required, for example, maybe sound of high frequency beyond the hearing, beyond the that humans cannot hear. Do you understand? Such sounds are removed from the video. So this will now make the file size of the video to be smaller compared to when lossless compression is used. I hope you understand that. So lossy, so since we are asked to write 3 points, okay, then we can just list three information to justify the reason we choose lossy compression. So I can write using lossy compression, using lossy compression, okay. So with this using lossy compression, redundant information are removed. So we should make the file size smaller compared to what? To lossless compression. So thus, lesser buffering and bandwidth is also required. So if you take a look at this, because you've reduced the file size more compared to lossless compression, so that means that you will need lesser what? Bandwidth, isn't it? You will also what? Needed what? You also need lesser buffering, that is at the receiving end. I hope this is well understood. Okay, good. Now the next question. The video conference is accessed over the internet. Complete the table by stating how modems and dedicated lines are used when data is transmitted over the internet. Okay, so we have modems and dedicated lines. So we are asked to complete the table by writing a description of how modems and dedicated lines are used, okay, when this data is what is transmitted over the internet. So a modem is a modulator and demodulator. Modulator and demodulator. Okay, what does that mean? Most communication channels cannot transfer digital signal. They can only transfer analog signals. But our computers today are mostly digital devices. They are not analog. So if not for these modems, it will be difficult for us to transfer data over the internet, most especially over telephone network or telephone communication lines. But because of these modems, so your computer can only save digital signals, right? So this digital signal is fed to the modem. So this model now modulates that signal into an analog form. Okay, this analog form, because your telephone wires can transmit analog signals, then they are now transmitted through these what communication channels. So when it now gets to the receiving computer, of course, cannot decode the analog signal. So you also need a modem to demodulate, to convert it back to to digital for this computer to be able to decode. Do you understand? So that is what a modem does. I hope this is understood. While for dedicated line, this is just a part that provides direct communication, just like if like a line cable, the cable or telephone lines used in those days when there's a line between one telephone network and another network where you just transmit data from one line to another. So the use of dedicated line is faster compared to other wireless medium of communication. So I hope this is understood. Good. So you can write that modems convert digital signals into analog signals. Okay, if you like, you can also write analog to digital. Just write one of them. Okay, on lines. So down telephone lines. Okay, so for dedicated line, you can write use to provide direct connections. Okay, down the telephone lines. Okay, so you are asked to come by stating how modem and delegate are used. Okay, how they are used. So this is how they are used, and that is the end of this question. So I hope this is well understood. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel and also like this video for others to be able to see the content of this video. Thank you for your time.